Good evening, Sagittarius. Welcome. I'm doing a quick reading for the end of November. We're going to dive right in. I'm going to pick out of a few cards to get a planet, either North Node, South Node as well. Just to get a astrological energy, I don't know, like a direction. Uranus. So, unpredictability, Sag. Also, newness coming in the form of, flash news or a piece of information you didn't know about. So, something quite striking, quote unquote. Let's pull out of the tarot and see if that actually ties in with this energy or not. I could talk about the new moon at the end of the month, so on the 23rd, I believe, but for some reason, this is not so much the accent of the reading, although we're looking at the end of the month. The reason I say that is probably because Uranus came out, so the new moon energy is a different feel, so it'll have its bearing, it'll create what it needs to create, right? Namely, setting forth new intentions, whatever you choose to put out there for yourself. But Uranus is like 5 of Swords in reverse. That's very good. Oh, 10 of Swords in reverse. My bad. I have my glasses on this side. I should maybe put them on. What I was saying about Uranus is like an added piece, right, to November, to the rest of November. Oh boy. Okay. King of Cups in reverse. 3 of Swords in reverse. The Emperor. And the 7 of Swords. Three cards of Swords here, so I think it's a little bit of the Uranus energy, right? Something that is sharp, incisive, almost like the surprise, right? The sting of the surprise, I'm going to say it like that. So a little bit like a bite as well. In the middle of this read, we have the 3 of Swords in reverse. The first card is the 10 of Swords in reverse, and the last card is the 7 of Swords in upright. So all of these cards are avoiding betrayal, avoiding heartbreak, and avoiding. Not that you would avoid to avoid, but double avoidance. So really an energy of escapism, but not in the sense of like drifting away in like you're, somewhere in your imagination. Not like that. More of almost like a true escape, escaping prison, like something. I'm saying prison, but it's about authority. It's because the Emperor is here, so escaping maybe too much pressure on you, a set of rules, some form of imposed structure or it's conformism as well, right? So there's something that you're really wanting to escape here. And you being Sagittarius, the most freedom-loving sign, I think there's something there where you're not necessarily accepting like the imposition, just the fact that it's being set. Not that you can't abide by any rules ever, but there's something particular with this enforcement that you're really choosing to shimmy away from. This is like shimmying away from, like saying, listen, not for me, you know. And Uranus is the freedom by excellence. It symbolizes freedom by excellence. Oh, I'm not sure I said that right. It's the meaning the card is really truly what freedom, how it's represented in astrology. It's the breaking free planet. This is breaking free as well, like shimmying out of, you're breaking free. And you're only breaking free from what I feel is a set of circumstances I want to say they're created for you to conform, and that's the part where you're not, I guess, in agreement with. So if I backtrack now and I look at this King of Cups in particular, who's in reverse, he's the one that was, you know, heartbroken, felt betrayed, or at least you know, we use the word betrayal on the Ten of Swords, which, of course, even on the Three of Swords, you can read betrayal. Overall, it's not meeting eye to eye as well. It's about what you feel went wrong because things didn't work out. And all of that creates a sense of, well, it's like the lack of correspondence is creating this impression that it's pure betrayal. But betrayal is like the harshest. It's you'd have to have like extreme hate or extreme ill intentions to commit betrayal. So I mean, unless you, I mean, I don't, in the context of this particular reading, I'm not going to bring this in because, not that it's impossible, because it does exist out there, but it's way too much here to even to be taken so literally. What has happened or could happen by the end of the month is the sensation that your emotions or someone else's emotions have been betrayed. And by that I mean maybe use the word not respected or not heard, not, there was no empathy. impression that, again, the not meeting eye to eye, the lack of correspondence, the lack of connection, you could say. And I think that exists, or will it, like, it will happen in this way because of the superstructure here. There's no room for emotions here. This is like the sort of things are this way and no other way, right? As if there was only one way, one truth, one possibility, one set of emotions, only one way of looking at things, which is not really, in my eyes at least, true. To use the word truth again. Because everyone has their own perception, there's more than one experience for the same event, for the same set of circumstances. And maybe Sagittarius, this is why you're not quote-unquote complying with this set of rules and this particular vision, which is quite narrow and rigid, because it doesn't give you room to express your emotions, to feel them, to even have them, or, you know, all it is, how can I say this? It's almost like this structure is fencing you in. And it's actually fencing you in because the way the cards came out is you're fenced in by hurt in both directions, right? No matter where you turn, this superstructure is just hurtful to you. It could also be that it's a strange energy, but because the two cards are side by side, the Emperor and the Seven of Swords, it's almost like the structure or the rules are, I'm gonna say it as it comes, it's like, do as I say, but don't do as I do, right? It's like, what works for me, I am a separate, I can do whatever I want here. Like, this is, I get to choose. But what's kind of shady here is the fact that it doesn't necessarily apply. You know, they get exempt while you're being put into this superstructure, or this, you're being imposed a certain behavior, a certain way of seeing, feeling, behaving, even moving. You know, you're being confined in so many ways. So the Seven of Swords energy is not necessarily yours in terms of wanting to like slip away and like basically trying to wiggle yourself out of this, you know, uncomfortable situation, place. It's also the way it's imposed. It's imposed in a, it's almost imposed like, although it's like super strong, it's also imposed in a loose way, in a way that is, how can I say this? Like, you ought to know what it is, but then again, it's never written anywhere, and it's a code of conduct that basically you're supposed to like guess, or you're supposed to, I don't know what other word to say. It's almost like what's loose about it is it's more the fact that it's changeable. This is not an energy that is, although this one is fixed, this one isn't. So it's contradicting, right? So what it's adding, basically, the Seven of Swords is basically giving, this is what I was saying about these set of rules only apply for certain individuals or in certain circumstances. And in your case, because you're in this energy of being basically lacerated by all sides, from all sides, in your case, these rules, they're not being very flexible. You're not giving any flexibility, or on the contrary, you know, you're gonna rebel. This Uranus card here is the fact that you're gonna want to break free. It's not a comfortable place for you, Sag. And you know, breaking free, it can take so many shapes. It doesn't have to be that you need to leave or that you need to change yourself. It has to do with knowing your worth, knowing what works for you, knowing what you can take and what you need to say, well, this is not for me. Because your emotions are being toyed with. This is what it feels like. And in this case, you know, this is a water sign card, right? So Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, but you being Sagittarius, I would lean more towards the Piscean card because of the, you know, co-ruler of Jupiter is the co-ruler of Sagittarius and Pisces. So this being maybe a Piscean card, it resonates more as you here, Sagittarius. And you know, Uranus is in Taurus, and this, although it's the Emperor and it's usually Aries, it could also be Taurus. So there's something here about this superstructure and the fact that it's not sitting well with you because you're mutable. So there's something about the mutability is the idea that not that you're someone unreliable, you know, and sly, like a lot of people would just attribute to the Seven of Swords, you know, just go ahead and spread it and just leave it at that. On the contrary, this is your way out. This is your way to alleviate the pressure. This is your way of curbing things. This is your way of making them work for you in your favor, and not necessarily to the detriment of anyone, because who really is in pain here is you. You're the one that's being circled in, surrounded, impacted. So I'm speaking to maybe a Sagittarius with Piscean placements or some water. I'm going to draw one more tarot card. I want to draw a card on I'm debating. Do I draw on the King of Cups or the Seven of Swords? I'm going to draw on the King of Cups. Because the Seven of Swords for me is an energy, so it has to do with also how the laws are imposed. And we don't need to know any more about that. What I'm going to do though is when I pull for the King of Cups in reverse, I am going to think about how it is that you're alleviating this pressure, right? Because this breaking away from me, for me, that was interesting. This breaking away for me is there's two things. Where does it lead to? And also like how you're doing it. So maybe more primarily how you're doing it. What shape does it take really? What are you putting in place? This one. Two of Pentacles. It's a strange way of curbing things. It's almost like leaving things up in the air. It's a little bit of inshallah kind of energy where you're giving it back to source, right? You're not able to necessarily make a clear-cut decision, a particular choice. Maybe not even a clear breaking away. So there's something about giving it to a higher power. I'm going to draw out of my makeshift deck now. This card. Two cards wanted to come out. So we have horloge, which is like a clock. No, sorry, horizon, my bad. Horizon, and trèfle is clover. I like that. The clover for me is the, I guess, quote unquote, lucky part. So maybe not that you leave it up to luck, but it's the idea that you're giving it to a higher power for you to, at this point, it's out of your hands. It's about letting for me, the horizon is about the future. It's about what lies on the horizon. So letting that unfold as it should and not try to force anything. So the same idea of letting go in terms of trying to control anything, because the idea is you're breaking away from this controlling energy. not to say, I mean, I don't always bring up the signs, right? A lot of readers do. So for me, the controlling energies is Aries, Taurus. And the one being controlled is Sag, Pisces, mainly. So it's possible that it's exactly this, or it could be forget the signs and, never mind that. I want to feel out a little more on the Two of Pentacles. About making a change, having things work in your favor. There is a choice. There is also an hesitation about which choice to make. So I think that's an important piece. And I could pull one more card. I'm still thinking about it, but I first want to tell you that you will be ambivalent. There will be a choice on how you break free, on how you choose your freedom, on how you rebel, on how you dispel all the hurt and the betrayal and, the backstabbing. How you dispel anything that is sort of imposed on you, but in a covert way, in a disguised way, in a over your shoulder kind of way, but not that you can't reach, right? It's just always hovering. Because it's always the idea with the Seven of Swords that you can't quite fully grasp it. That's why I'm saying that. Very eluding energy. Very savant as well in terms of knowing how to stay elusive. That's another important piece here. I'm going to draw that card on the Two of Pentacles. Hopefully we get to see what choice you make. Two cards flipped. It's really interesting. It's a crazy mix. It's the Ten of Cups in reverse with the Sun card. So what's crazy kind of thing is it's not being happy and yet being fully happy. Like fully. And I think it's the choice. It's beautiful. I'm going to show you. One of the pentacles here is the Sun. And here, it's a very glowy energy on the Ten of Cups, but it's lower here. You see how they're placed? It's like almost like this. So one of the choices is obvious here. One of the choices is your happiness. And I think it has to do with, how can I say this? It is having to let go maybe, or break away from, I'm going to show you. Because the betrayal here, or the hurt and the heartbreak was related, it's related. It's a kind of a love story, and something went wrong, or, it's a broken unit. So one of the choices is letting go of that. And you're choosing yourself here. So the beautiful energy for me is about, yes, you're letting go of one particular set of circumstances that could have brought you happiness, but brought you unhappiness, basically. And I think it has to do with the superstructure, because I did describe how your emotions weren't respected, and they weren't allowed to flow, and they weren't allowed to be heard and sensed, and you received no empathy. On the contrary, you faced like a wall here. And yet it was sort of a invisible wall, because it's something that was like a glass panel, like you know a bird that flies, it's free and then it just hits the glass. That's what it feels like. And the amazing thing is where you end up by breaking free, following that instinct of wanting to self-express more than anything else is really the ultimate happiness, actually. It's recreating yourself also, and it's about the horizon, it's about a new future for yourself. What I really like is the if you think about the solar plexus, it's really related to an unwavering energy center that is creative, strong, whole, and always stays young. So I think that's what I would like you to walk away with, because you can't go wrong here. You can't go wrong. And you're Sag, so if luck is on your side, it also means Jupiter's is really, especially if you're the Sag Pisces combination. Jupiter is your ruler, double ruler in this case, so it's really meaningful. So anywhere Jupiter is in your chart, no matter how it's aspected, there's something there for you. Maybe you could look at that and think about your next move in terms of expansion. But it has to do with your freedom. You need to run wild here. Your emotions have to have room to express themselves. Your creativity, your originality with Uranus, all of that needs to be expressed, especially through the sun. The solar plexus is like pure expression. Beautiful, beautiful read, albeit difficult at the beginning because it's describing your circumstances, or let's say just circumstances. Or maybe the energies to make it more large, right? Anyways, I wonder if anything resonated. Leave me a comment if it did. Give me a thumbs up, share and like. Share and subscribe if you haven't. Thank you, Sag. I'll see you soon.